been to over 5 shop talks, if not more, and it has transformed to really in 2 ways. The first is when we first came, it was all about consumers and how they want to buy things digitally, and what it meant to try to really be in places where they wanted to be and where they wanted to shop, which felt very far away. And it was about understanding this future of what, that e-commerce was becoming a thing, and very consumer oriented. Now, as we sit here today, it's become much more of a mixture of ad tech. So how do you have a partner that helps you power your retail media network, as well as brands that are here that are trying to understand ways that they not only sell their products, but they can also think about monetization strategies as brands also become their own media networks. And so it's really transformed in terms of the inclusion of technology, as well as going beyond just how consumers want to shop, and really how retailers and brands and partners like Epsilon, for example, can actually make money while they're making consumers happy and meeting consumers where they are.
One of the other things that has changed is your role. You about a year ago took on the role as CEO of Digitas. What's changed for you? And I know that's a big question, but what are the top things that are different now?
Yeah, it's being the CEO of Digitas is a privilege, and it's about people. And we have unicorns, that's what we call ourselves, and we're really always looking for ways to drive unicorn moments with clients. So my previous role was much more around building capability. How do we bring in all the products we see here and constructing them to really drive the future of our clients, but much more not in a client agnostic way, in an industry way. Now I'm much more focused on specific clients that are Digitas partners, and how I can take these things and drive growth for those clients, which has been a really fun transition to go from being in a more capability-oriented role into really running an agency and being closer to the people and clients.
Speaking of clients and partners, there are so many retail media networks here. We've interviewed a bunch of them in this series. How do you evaluate retail media networks as partners? What are you looking for?
We look for a number of things. The first is really the retailers, in order to get our media dollars, need to really behave like more traditional media partners. So this means they have, the right standards in place when it comes to measurement. We're also able to really understand and get closer to our audience, so the strength of the data is very important. So those are brilliant basics in my mind. The next area really is around the experience. So when I think about Digitas, our offering is around a networked experience. How do we help brands really benefit from the ecosystem of different retailers? And so the more they have experiential opportunities, the more we can break through in the category. So thinking about creative and media together is really where we want to double down with certain retail media partners. That's really the differentiator of the future.
Speaking of creative, Digitas has actually done some interesting things around shoppable video as well. I think it was a branded content series on TikTok. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yes. So Digitas is part of a Power of One solution, which is Department W and Pub W. It's a consortium of agencies for the Walmart business, both media and creative. And last holiday, we created a shoppable rom-com series. So think of it as a series of snackable content where you could follow along on a main character, and you could also shop her list, and you could also shop what she was doing in each of the different content options, and really bringing together this idea of entertainment, commerce, and shopping, and really and being in a place, in a platform, in this case TikTok, where our shoppers are, and we want to move them into that discovery to purchase mode. It's a lot of fun. And really also for Walmart is really exciting for them in terms of being more inspirational for their business and really breaking out in the holiday timeframe.
My last question would be, do you feel like sort of shoppable branded content, which seems like its own new category, shoppable branded content is something that we'll see from a lot more brands over the coming years?
Absolutely. I think that we call it networked experiences, but I do think the idea of not only entertaining but also making it shoppable is the future. If you hang out with anyone that's younger than 20, that's what they expect. They expect that you swipe up and buy it, and they don't care if it's a streaming service or it's an ad or it's YouTube. And I think that's really interesting, which I think our generation doesn't view things like that. We sort of segment them based on the screen. I think the rising generation, where the buying power is, really wants to see it and buy it, and they want to be entertained and be able to purchase all at once.